with this so-called pandemic of the CV, we're getting more and more information. It's being more and more exposed that as many as 80% of people can be exposed to the virus and develop a positive test if they were tested, but they're not getting tested because they are unaware of the fact that they even have a virus. It is asymptomatic. And on top of that, we have this clip which I want to share with you that shows that this virus is being effective in reducing population in many more ways than just old people catching it in senior citizens' care.
Rise in suicides of 50%, a number 10 times higher than the number of coronavirus deaths. Unemployment and poverty are also predicted to markedly increase suicide rates in Germany. Now that's an interesting one there. The Australian government estimates a rise in suicides of 50%, a number 10 times higher than the number of quote-unquote coronavirus deaths. It gets worse and worse. It just keeps getting worse and worse. Unemployment increases the risk of heart attack to an extent comparable to cigarette smoking, diabetes and hypertension. But where did all the patients with heart attacks disappear to? Admissions to emergency care units dropped 30% compared to the previous months, not because the patients were miraculously cured, but because they were terrified of catching the deadly virus in hospitals. Preliminary symptoms went unheeded, even though such symptoms are often the harbinger of a deadly attack and need to be closely attended to in hospital. Further consequences for the elderly. In Germany, more than 1,000 people over the age of 80 die every day. While we are taking drastic measures to prevent them from dying of COVID-19, we are making their lives less worth living. This cannot but impinge on life expectancy. Go on to talk about quality of life. And one of the things that jumps out there is isolation and loneliness. And I think we have a loneliness and isolation issue involving elderly people to begin with. With this thing, it's just been exacerbated and gotten so much worse. The consequences of this are enormous, and according to this book, have all been for nothing. I'm rapidly believing that this has all been for nothing. It's hard to take on board, it's hard to accept, it's hard to swallow. And it is enough to get you down. It really is enough to get you down. And I do think there's a lot of that going on across the country as well. So I'm going to carry on doing what I'm going to do for the rest of this. So I'm just going to carry on the things I picked up